Has social media made the world a better place? Why or why not?
Oh my God.
I think it's a mix of both.
You can argue both ways.
It makes people less present.
Period. End of story.
These are intense questions.
What's up, dorks? Today we're at USC, and I'm going to be asking college girls Miss America pageant questions.
That's a really good question.
Let's see if they say something insightful. Let's get it. The Treasury wants to put the face of a woman on the $10 bill instead of Alexander Hamilton. Which woman should get that honor and why?
Oh no, literally no idea.
Gosh, there's a lot of great women in our history.
My mother.
Michelle Obama.
I'd pick Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oprah. Period. End of story.
Probably the first woman Supreme Court justice.
Whose name is?
Her name is Justice.
I think maybe Bell Hooks.
Oh, I'm so bad. I'm in a class where we talk about her every single day.
How do we narrow the gap between the rich and the poor?
Oh my God.
Okay, this is a tough one.
We don't.
I don't have the knowledge available to answer this question.
Education. Yeah.
We need better education system.
College should be free and equal, opportunities.
Those who are in the top 1% have a moral obligation to spread their wealth. That starts with redistributing the wealth.
Job opportunities that pay actually well instead of just minimum wage.
Taxes, maybe? Taxes?
Tax the rich?
Tax the rich. Fuck the rich.
No taxes for the poor?
Some taxes for the poor.
It's funny, one of the girls said, you're gonna make me look stupid. I said, I'm not gonna make you look stupid. You're gonna make yourself look stupid. Government tracking of phone records have been in the news lately. Is this an invasion of privacy or a necessary protocol to keep our country safe? Why or why not?
I mean, I guess it could be like good for like safety of people.
I feel like they shouldn't do it because that is an invasion of privacy. But I guess like there is ways that they could do it that's like better, like just like not really tracking the calls, but like having keywords that if like something pops up that's like alarming.
Bomb.
Yeah, like bomb or like terrorism or something like that.
That makes sense because usually the terrorists be like, hey, brother, want to do terrorist stuff today? What specific issue regarding women's rights is most important to you?
Oh wow.
The wage gap. I want to be paid the same amount a man would.
Equal pay. I think we progressed a long way. It's still like very unequal like in the workplace. You're just treated differently.
Do you have a job currently?
I do not.
Do you think political correctness is hurting or helping this country and why?
It's hurting and helping.
I think both.
Both hurting and helping.
I think the intentions were good for political correctness. Sometimes it can be a little bit hard to say what exactly is politically correct because people have their own morals.
I think more often than not it can be super helpful, but then sometimes people just for the sake of like seeming woke, they say stuff, want to start arguments.
But I also think we can't all be too sensitive because life is going to knock you down eventually. And if you get upset about everything that's done and every opinion that every person has, you could be a very unhappy person.
Definitely hurting because I think especially with the media, it's like very polarized, like the different sides like of politics, like you're either Democrat or Republican, no in between, and we can't come to an understanding because it's like such a polarization. It's a huge problem, but I don't know if we can really fix it.
The intentions are good, and it's if anyone has something they'd like to, I don't want to get canceled. I don't know how to.
Well, that's just it. You just said, I don't want to get canceled. Why? Because you would be saying something that's potentially politically incorrect?
Yes.
Maybe your take is, it's not good.
Fuck.
And you said you were nervous to even answer some questions. Do you think that's because of political correctness and you didn't want to say something that could be seen as politically incorrect?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, and I think that goes back to literally any time anybody opens their mouth. I think no matter who you are, you can say something that offends somebody.
I think canceling people has gotten out of hand sometimes.
Should unwed teenage mothers be allowed to collect welfare?
Unwed teenage mothers?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they have a mouth to feed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes, I think so.
And why is that?
If you get pregnant and you're a teenager, there's like so little you can do about it in terms of like trying to provide for it.
Especially if you're like not married, then you don't have like that second like source of support, so you need it even more.
If they need assistance, they need assistance.
If they need assistance, yeah.
Some people might argue like, oh, she was a teenage mother, she decided to get pregnant, and they knew they weren't able to financially look after it, and now it's taxpayer dollars are going towards it.
She has the baby. What are you going to do now?
So some would say, oh, I don't want my tax dollars going to someone who decided to have a child, even though they know they couldn't financially support it.
They're her tax dollars too.
She doesn't have enough money to.
I know, but in a way, I'm sure she's just not. Again, I don't know if she's just working or anything like that. But you want the country to be better, right? Like the country at its core is like they're just individuals. That's what makes up a country. So
I feel like they should get some sort of financial support because like the guy, if he chooses to leave, like he doesn't have to necessarily take care of the baby, but more likely the woman's left with a child to like support.
So in the event that the guy says, hey, I don't want to have the kid, and she said, I'm still gonna have it, should she still be able to collect welfare?
Yes, because it's still her body that has to like have the child.
Tell me about one thing in your life that you're the most proud of.
I don't know. I'm really proud of my friends and family.
Do you have a personal accomplishment that you would think that, oh, this is one of my most proudest moments?
I don't think there's a moment.
Governor Scott Walker ran a $50 million race in Wisconsin and won. What's your opinion on the opinion that he bought his win, and what implications does this have on U.S. democracy?
I almost feel like there should be a cap on how much you can spend on a campaign so it's equal for everyone.
There should be a limit for the amount of money that people can spend on a campaign.
Those without wealth should be allowed to succeed as much as those who have all this money from lobbying, from their own personal wealth, etc., etc.
Has social media made the world a better place? Why or why not?
I think it's a mix of both.
You can argue both ways.
I think for the most part, it bothers me because it makes people less present.
Again, it reinforces these beauty standards, and it's much harder to ignore them on a daily basis when every time you swipe through your feed, you see another person that's deemed as beautiful and you don't match up in certain ways.
It adds a lot of pressure to different groups of people with expectations to look a certain way, to do certain things, to have a certain lifestyle. It can add a lot of pressure to your life when you don't want it to be.
Unless you only follow accounts that don't show that.
Oh yeah, then it's fucking fine. I watch mainly food videos. It really depends, but it's much harder to ignore because even like on your explore page, so many times like random women or whatever will show up, and it can just make you feel bad about yourself from time to time.
So should those women not post that stuff, or?
Women should do what women should do, but they should keep in mind, like, I don't think that photoshopping and stuff like that is technically okay, especially if you don't disclose it. Remind women that that's not what you look like all the time. But otherwise, you should post whatever the fuck you want, like, go women.
You have achieved so much. Do you have any failures? And if so, what have you learned from them?
Do I have any failures? No. Nothing is a failure when you think about it. It's like everything happens for a reason, so nothing's a failure.
What are your thoughts on TikTok being owned by a Chinese company? Do you think it should be banned in the U.S. to protect our privacy?
No, I think that being banned would give us less privacy.
I say it shouldn't be banned. I think that it probably will cause security issues potentially.
A lot of our exports and a lot of the products that we have are from China. So like plastic is from China. A lot of the cups at Starbucks are probably made in China.
But those cups and plastics can't track you or save your information.
No, that's a good point.
So my friend sent a snap to the group chat saying y'all were at the village. I was like, bro, I've been a fan since y'all were at like 750K. I gotta go. So I'm all the way in the engineering building and I'm running. People are looking at me like I'm crazy. And I see y'all walking over there. I'm like, oh my God, that's them. And then I see Noah. I'm like, oh, yep, that's them. I gotta get a picture.
Do beauty pageants help or hurt how society views women?
I think they hurt how society views women.
I don't know if they have much effect on society at all. I don't think people pay much attention to them, to be honest. No, like no one's talking about beauty pageants.
As somebody who knows somebody in beauty pageants, I think it can really help. If it's used the right way, it can really empower women to kind of work together.
I think it's empowering, although it does capitalize primarily on the superficial looks. I think that there is an important aspect that there is also brains in there and that you can do both.
It's definitely promoting a certain type of beauty standard.
I think it promoted like unrealistic standards of like beauty for like women.
Beauty pageants are just they're dated. You know what I mean? Like when was the last time a girl my age, a 21-year-old girl was like, oh my God, I wish I looked just like Miss Tennessee. That doesn't happen anymore.
Well, you can definitely say there's a very misogynistic angle to beauty pageants, but I think at the same time it definitely does. Like it makes some women feel very like good about themselves, but overall I don't think that it's adds to the overall like beauty issues that we have in the world already. So I think overall it's not great for women's self-esteem.
I think it just needs to watch out for the damage it could do for like young girls going after like unrealistic standards of beauty.
Who do you think makes the women beauty standards? Who set them up?
Men, I guess. I mean,
who do you think makes those beauty standards?
The patriarchy, the men, like I think so.
I would say men, but then also like women. I think just like promoting it generation after generation.
Like, is it bad that there's beautiful girls put in the media and then it makes...
No, not at all. Especially now we're like getting a lot more representation of different types of people, which I think is wonderful. As long as you're confident in yourself and happy with who you are, you can be happy for other people too.
Colonization and like the destruction of culture and the destruction.
Beauty pageants still have the same kind of very skinny, the same looking kind of girl, and that can like really weigh down on somebody's confidence.
Oppressive, I guess, control over that country does in some way impact that beauty standard in a way.
Because I think I've realized that like I'll never look exactly like anybody else, and so I might as well just be happy with how I look. It's not easy for everyone to be happy with themselves 24/7. And I think every girl can relate to that no matter how confident you are. Or I mean, if you hate yourself, you can relate to that too. There's times when you feel worse about yourself.
I really never see like, I guess, women who have acne or scars or like other body differences in beauty pageants, and I think that that lack of representation somehow does kind of confine the scope of what we define beautiful, especially since the context of a beauty pageant is beauty. So I think in some ways it does.
If you were given the opportunity to make a 1-minute video that would reach every single American, what message would you give?
I don't know.
I would say listen more than you talk.
Bro, I literally have no clue.
Enjoy life, have fun, no regrets, be a menace, but don't do anything too stupid and don't hurt people.
Be a little bit more kind to each other. Just be nice.
Probably to live every day like it's your last and treat people well.
In a world that is ravaged by, I guess, war or corruption and oppression and all of that, I think that people need to step back a bit and think of what tiny good someone can do to kind of help in this state where a lot of the times you feel like this world will never change for the better.
I think change is good and everybody should continue to change as older as they get more experience in their life.
It might seem grim and it might seem like change isn't happening, but I think there is good change once you desire that in your heart to help others. Do your little good in the world. You can, buy a meal for an unhoused person, or you can give a compliment to someone who looks like they're having a bad day.
I think I would want my overall message to be, is socks with sandals a good choice? Yes or no? And the answer is depending on the occasion, but leaning towards no.
Or campaign for something that you think is right in your heart to help others.
So your message is, why are people wearing socks with sandals?
Yes. Also low-rise jeans.
You're not fucking with low-rise jeans.
At least for me personally, I don't have the body type for it.
But if you can pull it off, then...
If I could pull it off, maybe I would be wearing that.
Inspiring and just loving and giving, and I personally feel most beautiful when I give, because I think that's what it's all about. Giving, loving, sharing, peace.
Peace. Hug it out. Here we go.